Okay, here we are, you guys. Week 8. I am so proud of y'all. You did it. You guys started and finished something that is so impactful for your personal growth and development. You've invested in yourself, and I want to know, how does it feel? Okay, I want you guys to take a minute to really be proud of yourself. I've read a statistic and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was shocking. The number of people that actually do invest in personal growth and development, it's so tiny. And if you think about it, there are so many people that are going to leave this earth having never read a book like this. And I can't even imagine. And I almost feel like this book is almost the foundation for any other book that you might read in personal development. In fact, how many of you guys have read a personal development book before and applied none of it, right? And do you think that that could be because you were operating out of a fixed mindset? And so you have done something not only to invest in yourself, but something that really can be the catalyst for change in your life. And here in chapter 8, we see everything coming together, and we are equipped with the resources, with the encouragement, and with the motivation to actually take what we've learned to do something and change our mindsets. And so I want to give us just a really quick recap of chapter 8, and then I really want to make some space tonight for you guys. Only if you want to, no pressure at all. So don't freak out if you're sitting there going, no way. But I want to make some space tonight for a few of you guys to share how this book has impacted you, maybe what your favorite takeaway was, something that you've learned, something that this book, a change that this book has inspired in you. And so the chapter begins by saying that the growth mindset really is based on the belief in change. And so I want to ask you guys a question. Do you believe that you can change? I mean, no, really, because I'm thinking there was a time when I would have read a book like this, and then someone would have said, okay, like, you ready to go? You ready to make the change? You ready to start the process to operating out of a growth mindset? And I would have thought, yes, but, right? Like that, like immediately the fixed mindset would have like come crashing down on the growth mindset. And so check your belief system. I want you guys to believe that you can implement what you've learned with this book. I want you to believe that you can implement it and start to take steps forward. It's progress, not perfection. It takes time. It's a journey and a process. And so I don't want you guys to have any doubts. And by changing your mindset from fixed to growth, I know that you can change. But the book says this, and it's just true. It's so true. It's not like, I think he uses the analogy of like a surgery. Your old beliefs aren't just like cut away and gone forever. It really does take time. And with your new growth mindset, you guys are going to start creating new phrases. Like instead of thinking, oh, I'm such a loser, or I'm a better person than they are, right? Like thinking those things, you're going to start replacing them with phrases like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? And that really is the difference. In the book, they gave us the example of Maggie, and this one really stuck out to me. It just made me really, really sad, honestly, because we see Maggie and she is an aspiring writer. In fact, she says that it is her dream. Like she dreams of becoming a writer, but she doesn't take a writing class because she's afraid that if she takes the writing class and she wasn't successful, that her dream would immediately be destroyed. Can you imagine having a dream in your heart, something that maybe God created you to do. You have a gifting, but you are afraid to take the first step because you are so afraid of failure. And then you're afraid that if you hit that first roadblock, or if you do find an area where you're not naturally gifted, or you find an area that you need to improve, that's just confirmation that you're no good. You're not a writer. You can never do it. And how sad that something like that, without a mindset change, without her understanding, having a growth mindset, that could have held her back from pursuing her passion. And they said after learning about the growth mindset, her inner monologue changed to go for it, make it happen, develop your skills, and pursue your dream. And so I want you guys to think about this in the context of Plexus, right? I mean, this is a journey. You have to be willing to get out there, do some hard things that are outside of your comfort zone, and fail. It's John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward, right? And instead of letting that crush you or be confirmation, oh, I was never going to reach that goal anyway. Oh, I was never going to achieve that rank anyway. I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I wasn't XYZ, fill in the blank. Instead, okay, how can I sharpen my skills? What did I learn from that? What am I going to change moving forward in my business? There have been so many times in my business where I have had to reassess, where I've had to pivot. Even I was actually going through and getting some Christmas gifts this year for the past several nights, purchasing Christmas gifts for people that have joined me on this journey personally, like my customers, my wholesalers, my level ones. And as I was buying gifts, I found myself for the 20th time, so many times I've told myself, man, I really haven't given this person great customer service. Like as I'm buying them something, I'm seeing their name, I'm looking at their order history, and I'm thinking, I have not done as good of a job following up with them as I should have. And that just, instead of me beating myself up about it, right? And being like, well, you're never going to be good at customer service. It's 5 years and you still aren't taking care of your people like you should. And instead of letting that tape play in my head, what can I learn from it? What can I do? And you guys, in your business, it's like, and it mentions in the book that every day people plan to do difficult things. So what is the difficult thing in your business? Is it customer service? Is it reaching out to people? Is it sponsoring? Is it following up? Is it posting on social media? Like, what is that thing for you that you know is holding you back? But the mind goes, I'll do it tomorrow. And they swear to themselves that they're gonna follow through tomorrow. And in the book, they say that research shows that vowing, even intense vowing, like saying, I promise myself I'm committed, that it's often useless. The next day comes and the next day goes. And I know even right now, this time of year, you guys might be thinking, oh, when January comes, I'm going for it. I'm running hard. Or I'm just going to get through Christmas, right? But you're going to get through Christmas, and then it's going to be your kid's birthday. And then you're going to get through your kid's birthday, and then you're going to have something come up at work. And then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. And tomorrow never comes. Today, tonight, tomorrow, every single day, I want you guys committed to doing something for your business. And in the book, they say that what works is making a concrete, vivid plan. So think of the thing that you need to do. Maybe it's something that you need to learn. Maybe you need to learn something because you're being held back in your business by a lack of knowledge in some area. Maybe it's a problem that you have to confront. Then make the plan, the concrete plan. When are you going to follow through? Where are you going to follow through? How are you going to follow through? Think about it in vivid detail. When you make the concrete plan, a plan that you can visualize about the when, the where, and the how that you are going to do something, that leads to really high levels of follow through, which ups your chances of actually doing the thing and seeing success from it. Okay. So, and one interesting thing that I read in the book that I was like, oh yeah, this is totally me, I can totally relate to this, is what's going to happen is you're not going to feel like it. Like you're just not going to be, and you're going to be tired, you're going to have some sort of excuse, or you are going to do it, and then what's going to happen immediately, you're going to have some sort of setback, right? That's going to mess with your mindset. And in a perfect world, that isn't going to happen. You're going to make the decision and you're going to get started. But you guys have to decide that how you feel that day, how you feel after you have that rejection, how you feel after you hit that first setback or roadblock, how you feel is irrelevant. Of course, it's easier to take action when things are great and you feel good, but you made a plan, and a plan is the plan, and it is so critical to stick with your plan. You guys, this past week, and some of you guys are aware of this, some of you guys are not, but I decided this past week, I'm 5.5 years in on my business, have read so many books on time management, have trained on time management, I have heard about time blocking, and my fixed mindset has always told myself, well, this is like one of the perks of Plexus. And I really did build my business in the nooks and crannies. But I am in a place in my life right now where nooks and crannies doesn't work to build my personal business. It just doesn't work. So I am in a place in my business where I know that I have to time block out the time to actually work my personal business. And so my plan, right? My plan is I got my calendar out. I wrote in my calendar my work hours when I'm sitting down to work my personal business. And then I actually invited my jewels and the senior rubies on this team to show up to work with me during my work hours. So my work hours, I'm actually jumping on a Zoom, like this was my vivid plan in place so that I could take the next step forward and so that I could fix some mindset things I had going on in my head. And so I am showing up for work every single day. I'm showing up for this Plexus job of mine. But when it comes down to is even some of you guys that are reading this book, there are some people that we found that the research finds doesn't want to change, right? And they talk about the two types in this book. And one type, and I don't know if anyone in here could connect with either of these, but one type was those that are entitled and think that the world owes them. They think that everything, everyone, the world needs to change, but that they don't need to change. And they feel entitled, and it sounds bad when I say this out loud, but when you read it in the book, you guys, this is like, there are probably some areas in our lives where we all struggle with entitlement. You feel entitled to a better job, a better house, a better relationship with your spouse. The world should recognize your specialness and treat you accordingly. And the growth mindset helps us to see, we need to give up this idea of being superior. And if someone was saying this to me, I'd be like, I never feel that way. I do not feel that way. But I would challenge you to really look and analyze in your life if there are times when you do feel that way. And understand that, you guys, there's so much for you to learn. I can think of specific people, including myself, in this Plexus journey, where I kind of thought that I had it all figured out. I really did. I was like, I got this thing down. I've got this all figured out. Well, as soon as I have something all figured out, change happens or something shifts in the business. And that's just the nature of life. Change is always happening. And really come to find out, the more personal development I do, the mature I am, the older I get, I really start to realize I don't have anything figured out in the first place. Like, I don't know as much as I thought I knew anyway. But I really do think me coming to that understanding is having more of a growth mindset of I'm constantly learning and constantly growing and being intentional about seeking that out. And as you become more growth minded, if you're struggling in those areas with entitlement, you'll be amazed at how people do come alongside of you to really rally for you and cheer you on and give you the support that you need. And so just get out of there fast. If you have any sort of entitlement in any area in your life, run from that for sure. Okay, so mindset and willpower. Fixed mindset people think that if you are strong, then you will have the willpower that you'll just think, I can do this. Like I have the willpower to do this. And the weak, they just don't have it. So it's like a matter of willpower. And I felt like this was so interesting, like a really relatable, at least for me, it was a really relatable example of this and why just having the willpower doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work. And they gave the example of Nathan. Do you guys remember reading about him? His 25th high school reunion was coming up. And he was wanting to lose some weight because he was going to see his ex-girlfriend at their reunion. And he basically was just, he was kind of like yo-yoing, and he never really got a plan in place. And so the author would say, this isn't working. She would say, you need a better system. Why not? And she gave some suggestions, like put some of your meal aside at the beginning, have the restaurant wrap it up to take it home, or fill your plate with extra vegetables. Like there are a lot of things that you can do. And Nathan's response was, no, I have to be strong. And, then she ended up saying he went on a liquid crash diet, lost weight, gained more than he lost. And then she says, and I underlined this because I felt like it was so interesting, I wasn't sure how this was being strong and how using some simple strategies was being weak. Why was putting some strategies in place to support you, to come alongside of you, why was that being weak? And for example, for me with my work hours, right? Like I wasn't going to have enough, okay, tomorrow, or I wasn't necessarily even going to have the willpower to make sure that accountability. So the strategy I put in place was, hey, y'all show up with me. We're going to show up together. And if I know that I have people counting on me and I know that I have people showing up, like that is the accountability piece that I knew that I would need. And so it says, next time you try to diet, think of Nathan and remember that willpower is not just a thing you have or you don't have. Willpower needs help. Okay, so what are you going to put in place? And I don't know what it is for you in this business or in your life, but like, what are you going to put in place to help support you as you move toward the growth mindset? And then we talked about, the book talked about setbacks. Like they're going to happen, and just plan for it. Like you're going to get out there and you're going to say, I'm going to give the best customer service ever, and someone's going to fall through the cracks. I'm going to reach out to 2 people a day, and then you reach out to 2 people a day, they both reject you, and then for the next 2 weeks you reach out to none. And your mindset can say, I'm not doing that anymore. Like you can let that fear creep in. I'm not going to do the hard thing anymore. Or you can say, okay, well, I was rejected twice, and then for 2 weeks I didn't work. So what can I learn from that? Like, what do I need to do so that when I face rejection again, it doesn't completely shut me down? And then put into practice, allow yourself to put those things in place so that you can move forward. And it's a learning process. So have grace for yourself. I think one word that I thought of over and over again as I was reading through this chapter was grace. Like you're just going to keep on having grace for yourself, and you're just going to pick yourself back up. And it talks about the brain, right, in this chapter, and how it gets stronger and stronger as you continue to implement this growth mindset. And so I want you guys to be taking care of your minds and maintain your change. People, I just really thought that this was really interesting too. Oh gosh, what did she say? She said that people often stop doing the things that once they get there, once they improve, then they stop doing the things that help them get there, right? Like you might have really great eating habits. Like you might change your diet and you might hit your goal weight. And then what do? You start letting the bad habits and the bad foods and bad things creep back in because you've gotten there. And so in this business, I can really see how that is applicable as well. Like I can't even tell you how many people, many of you guys even, it's like you are on it. Like you are working your business, you're consistent, you're doing the hard things, you have your end goal as a rank, right? So it's achieving silver, achieving super silver, achieving gold, and then you hit gold. And then what do? You literally stop doing all the things that got you gold. You stop doing it, okay? At the very least, you want to maintain what you have, but hopefully you would continue those good habits, the things that you put in place, continue doing to help you move forward in your business. And so I thought that was just a really interesting takeaway. So I think that they said, like, once you feel better, you stop taking your medicine. In the book, they're like, once people start feeling better, then they stop taking the medicine. Well, I mean, that even made me think of Plexus, right? How many times have you guys had someone feeling great, like they use the products, they start feeling great, and then they stop taking the products and they're like, whoa, I forgot what it felt like to feel bad, right? Because you get there and then you stop. And so the changes that you make, they have to be supported. You've got to continue on with them and continue to support them. And so then the book really ended with us retraining our brain and seeing things in a new way. And so talking about, the 4 things. Number 1, recognizing I have a fixed mindset. If you're a human being, you have a fixed mindset in some areas of your life, right? Number 2 was becoming aware of your triggers. So failures, criticism, like what things trigger you into having that growth mindset. And then this one made me giggle. It was like naming your persona, right? So how many of you guys seriously thought of a name for that fixed mindset when that comes up, really naming? And then they gave several examples. If you haven't read the chapter, you guys, this chapter is so good. And it was so interesting to see the names that people came up with and why. And it just was very interesting. Okay, and then last is educate that persona. So if you've named your persona, that fixed mindset, well, educate them and then say, we're going on this journey together, because they're going to creep up, and you have to know what to do when that fixed mindset comes rearing its ugly head. You have to know how to handle them. And I love this graphic, you guys, on page 263 of the fixed mindset and the growth mindset right here. And it even says to print that out and put it on your mirror and to look at that every day. Can you imagine? Like, I thought, I really want to put this on my kids' mirror. I mean, I need to put it on my mirror, but how cool for our kids as well to know the difference between that fixed mindset and that growth mindset. And so, you guys, she just wrapped it up so good in the very last couple of paragraphs on page 264, just saying, like, change can be hard. It really can be, but you are so worth it. There's no one that invests in themselves in this way, helping to grow their mind, helping to really become a person who has a growth mindset, or that just looks back and was like, well, that was a mistake. It's a journey, but it's not a mistake. And so I want to hear from you guys. You know you're worth it. You've read this book. I want to hear from just a few of you guys. I want to hear what your biggest takeaways were from chapter 8. I want to hear what you loved about this book. It doesn't even have to just be over the chapter. Maybe have you identified a fixed mindset that you have and now you're having the courage to face that head on. Tell me, someone share with me what your biggest takeaways were.
Okay, I'll go, Melissa. Hi.
Thank you, Teresa. Hey.
So in this chapter, I can totally relate in reference to the mindset, because when I reached goal, I stopped doing what I did to reach gold. And I was, why is this not working? And why am I not continuing to stay gold? Why am I going backwards? And it took me a while to realize that you do show up for work every day. You have a regular job, 8 to 5 job, or a 9 to 5, or a graveyard shift or something. You have to show up to get paid. You have to show up to do what you're supposed to do in order to make this a business or whatever the situation is. So that to me rung such a bell, because I remember way back when what I had to do to go forward again. So people, keep doing what you're doing. Show up for work every day. You're going to show up for your regular job. Show up for your job for you. You are the boss, so show up for that job, because you expect your team to show up every day as well. So show up for them.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that revelation you had and the takeaway that you had, because there have been so many times in my business, especially like recently, where I've had that same revelation again. Okay, I'm doing corporate Zooms, I'm leading my team, I'm doing things, but I'm not showing up like my personal business, and consistently posting on social media, making sure that I'm sponsoring 3 every single month. Like same thing. Like, okay, so I need to learn from that. I need to learn from, okay, identify why is that? Why did I get to that place? Like, what was happening in my mind? And then just, turn that ship around and not make that mistake again and learn from it, really. That's awesome. Thank you. Who else? Someone else?
I'd like to go next.
Hey!
I haven't been with Plexus very long, but I've noticed.
That's my girl.
Challenge. Hi, Teresa. I've noticed I put on somebody on the 3-day challenge, and she has had a fixed mindset. So I find myself dancing around to try to find out different ways to motivate her to get signed up. And she's really put me through the ringer. I'm like ready to just delete her altogether. But, I had to give her some other suggestions. And hopefully she comes around and I'll reach back out to her with those other suggestions that weren't related to Plexus. So that way she knows that I'm not just so Plexus motivated to get her to sign up. I had to open up my horizon. Her issues are weight loss, and she said she's only like certain foods, and I heard about this dirty, rotten keto, like what's not so keto motivated, but I was telling her how she can mix it in together and still take care of herself. So like I said, she's been really putting me through the process, and I'm like still going, still dancing around her. So just staying positive, and you're gonna get roadblock with these fixed mindset people. So keep it open.
Awesome. Thank you. I know. I feel like it is so interesting, because I can see like people on our team, people that, even my kids, you guys, I'm like, oh, you have such a big mindset right there, And sometimes it reflects on me too. Like I see it in others, and then that just points the finger back at me, and it's a mirror of, okay, well, do I have a fixed mindset in this area as well? Or does it reveal something in me? So yeah, thank you. Who else?
I'd like to share. This is Nina.
Hey, Nina.
Hi. So, this chapter really was huge for me, because in the beginning, when she talks about cognitive therapy, I've had a lot of really difficult things. I'm 40, so I feel like most people at this age have gone through a lot of hard things, right? So I had gone through cognitive therapy before, and what hit me is when she said that therapy doesn't take you out of the fixed mindset and that world of judgment. That was really big because I've struggled with depression, and over I'm like, I've already done these therapies. I've read this personal development. Why am I so stuck? Why do I keep going back to that mindset? And that really hit it for me. Like, okay. And then her talking about that, just recognizing and that you're going to, that's been with you for so long that it's going to take time to move toward that growth mindset. It's not going to be right away. It's a process that we have to go through. And I do see where I have learned to stop myself from some of the thoughts that I used to have, that some skills that I learned in that therapy, not letting my world go when something goes wrong, going into, oh, well, it should be like this, or what if this happens, and going into the what if spiral. So I can see I don't do that as much, but I was still stuck in that fixed mindset. So I'm really looking forward to, and I agree with you about grace. This whole book, I feel like that's been, oh, okay. And as I'm reading my devotional, I'm like, I just need to apply that grace. It's just give myself grace over and over. So this chapter has been just the culmination of the whole book, and it really put it together, and that hit home for me.
Thank you for sharing that. Wouldn't it be so nice, y'all, if we could just get like we've gained the knowledge, we read the book. Okay, yay, got it, fixed. Like everything, like now I have a growth mindset, boom, just like that. If only it was that easy. So it is a process that we do have to give ourselves grace. And I really thought that was very, very interesting piece in the book as well. I really did. That it takes work, but you're worth the work. You are worth it. One more person want to share? Willpower needs help. Yes, absolutely.
I will share.
Hi, Angela.
So at the end of the book in chapter 8, I liked where they put Alex Rodriguez. Had the baseball player says, you either go one way or the other, and you might as well be the one deciding your direction. So that's like huge to me. I definitely want to be in charge of my destiny. I shouldn't let anybody else or anybody's opinions choose where I'm going to go. But I will tell you, as far as the book goes, I hate reading. And it was very, very challenging for me. And I think that's one of the things that I'm learning through the fixed mindset is I have to get on my comfort zone. And until I'm ready to do that, because we are worth an investment. And I really appreciate you putting this on, because it really, I dedicated, I said I would do it. And I always say, if I say it, I'm going to do it. So I did. I said, I'm going to do it. So I did it. And I really appreciate it, because although I hate reading, it was such a good read. I can't even explain how much it's impacted me. But, just to get over our insecurities, and to get over the things that seem hard to us, and invest in ourselves. So thank you for putting it on, and everybody that's on here with us, that we have such a great team. We're not alone. So we have such a great team, and I really appreciate it.
Aw, thank you. Thank you, Angela. Thank you for sharing that. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking to a reading teacher, right? Saying I hate reading.
Well, that's the thing is I do it, but I just don't love it. And I'm sorry.
Neither do my kids. I'm like, I don't understand. I hate reading. What's the point of reading? I'm like,
I know. And it's so good for you. I read every day, but this is just one of those things that it actually, to take you're investing your time. So to sit down and actually read something that's going to be good for you. It was very challenging for me, but I really, really enjoyed it.
I'm so proud of you for doing it.
Thank you.
Yes, and I love that you ended with Alex Rodriguez and what he said. You either go one way or the other. You might as well be the one deciding on the direction. I love that quote, and I think that's a perfect way to end our book study tonight. You guys, it's the end of the year. It's the end of the decade. And I want you guys to commit to plugging into our retreat group. You guys are in there. You were chosen. You're there for a reason. You're there for a purpose. I want you guys to plug into that, plug into the things that we have going on the team page this month. We have our next 3-day challenge coming up. It's not too late to start inviting and getting people there. Mandy Dalbaum has some amazing things going on over in Let's Get Healthy. The 12 days, this is all it is your customers, your wholesalers, you guys, your team members can get over there and just participate and earn prizes. I mean, that's so fun. What an easy way to love on your customers, to love on your wholesale ambassadors. What a great way to build belief in them. And so I want you guys to commit to yourself and to commit to finishing this year, this decade strong. So I love you guys. I hope that y'all have an amazing night. Thank you for being on live with me tonight. Bye, everybody.